name is Keith Duncan. I'm with U.S. Press. I lived here for 2 years among the people. The Philippines have a recent public relations nightmare based upon all the recent terrorist attacks, drug wars, martial law, and I use the word fake news, very isolated events. What can our group do, and I say collectively, what can our group do to promote that the Philippines is actually a paradise? How can we attract foreigners who want to come here as permanent residents? For that transforms your economy. How do we attract foreigners to come here as permanent residents?
Sir Fabi?
Yeah, thank you. The fact that we are holding the conference here in the Philippines jointly with the government of the Philippines is also to send that kind of message to the world. It's not a coincidence. Of course, we received the gracious proposal from the government of the Philippines to hold the conference here, and we saw that would be a great opportunity to send the right message to the world. So those of you, all of you from the media that are here, should also consider that aspect of our conference. There is a political message for us being here and having, as my colleague Sujin mentioned before, having almost 1,000 participants. The latest counting that we have is the presence of participants from more than 60 countries. I don't know the exact figure, but above 60 countries. That was the figure last Friday. So these people here will also take that message. And on another aspect, which is the what many countries suffer from, are the travel advices, and UNWTO has a very clear position in that regard. Travel advices, well, countries who issue travel advices, of course, they are considering the safety of their citizens. It's their obligations, but they have to consider, they have to have their travel advices on a geo-reference base. So exactly what you said, it should not throw a blanket over the whole country, but to be very clear where the problems are. Second, the travel advices should be time-bound and not issued one day and be there forever. That's the second point. No, they should be clearly indicating when it was issued and for how long. And third, the countries affected should be consulted about it. And that consultation would eventually lead to more precise, more correct travel advice. So if countries follow this, I think we would have a much better situation in that regard.
Mr. Shi?
If I may add also, purely from a technical perspective, you mentioned the keyword paradise.
Thank you.
Paradise as a tourism destination, paradise that reflects the slogan of more fun in the Philippines. But how do we actually translate that into the sheer economic benefits as a result of the tourism? Perhaps in this so-called transformation process, one needs to be very careful about the perception issue. And it is probably for some of the far long-haul source markets like in Europe, it's about perception issue. But for me, I would like to actually come back to this region rather than only concentrating on looking at long-haul source markets. markets in order to influence about the concept of paradise. Why I say so? If you look at some of the neighboring source markets of Korea, Japan, and China, actually these are all within the region of Asia and the Pacific. And probably in the long past, some of our destinations in Asia, and the Philippines probably included, we sort of didn't look at our neighboring countries as a source market. But I remember even a few years back when the Philippines decided to participate in some of these intra-regional travel fairs, like in COTFA in Korea, and the CITM in Shanghai, and the JACA in Japan. The results were immediate. Immediate in the sense that some of these major, strong source markets in Asia, the little that we put in our promotional budget, what you get is a 40% increase of tourist arrivals from the neighboring source markets. And to the extent that 1 year, I think you even had a 90% increase of the Chinese market. What does that mean? That means it's not about the perception part that when you talk about long-haul market. When it comes to the intra-regional source market, it's about the awareness or lack of awareness. That actually will help with the transformation process into this paradise concept. Thank you.
Just quickly.